All right, looks like we are officially live. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I hope everyone's doing amazing today. Coming to you live and direct with another amazing Instagram Live. I am Ryan McCrary, also known as the Funnel Doctor. We help creative entrepreneurs grow and scale online using sales funnels and paid advertising. Got a very special guest coming on. We're going to talk about money this evening. If you like money, if you want to talk about money, if you want to learn how to make more money, build more wealth, increase your net worth, then you are in the right place tonight. Do me a favor, y'all. Share this out. Put it on your story. Drop it in someone's DM. Tag some other people that need to be here. We're going to be talking about how you can increase your net worth tonight. All right, let me see. Request.
What's
There
up,
we go.
Sparky?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I feel like I just saw you like a few days ago.
Right. Seems like it, right?
I know, right? How you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Just came from the movies with the kids. It was good. We saw Black Adam. It was dope.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So join in. Do me a favor, y'all. When you get on, to drop your name, where you from. Also, we definitely want you to share this out. Very important conversation, money conversation, how to increase your wealth and increase your net worth. Tag people that need to be here. Also, feel free to drop it in someone's DM, post it on your story, and so forth. But Nasima, thank you so much for being here. I know you're busy. Like you said, you know just came from being out with your kids. So definitely appreciate you just having this conversation.
Of course. Of course. I love having this conversation. Anytime we can talk about money, I'm down because I don't think I want to normalize it as much as possible. And, I don't think you could talk about money enough. So,
Yeah, definitely. So yeah,
yeah.
so let's jump
Yeah.
right in. For
hmm
those, of course, that don't know who you are or they haven't been following you yet, like you got a lot of followers. Your videos be going viral. But if someone's not familiar with you, of course, who you are, where you're from, your background, and so forth.
Sure. So I'm Nasima. I'm a labor and delivery nurse by trade. I'm from Oakland, California, born and raised. But I didn't figure out money until my late 30s. And I know I look young, but I'm well in my 40s. And yeah, money. Well, I always knew how to make money, and making money is not the same as building wealth. And
Right.
so when I had my first daughter, I found myself in a position where I was broke and I was making too much money to be broke. So I like set out on this journey to just figure out money. And where it's led me is like down this path that I couldn't even imagine. And so I share my story, and I started off my Instagram account when I started on this journey. So I have receipts upon receipts of just like sharing my story, my lessons along the way. And so my whole purpose is, I always grew up with the each one teach one mentality. If I'm learning something, I'm going to share it with you. And so that's what my platform is all about.
Okay, yeah, I love that. You dropped the nugget already. Making money. I literally had to write it down, so I got my pen. Making money is not the same as building wealth, and I love that because that's something that I never realized. Before starting my business, I had a corporate job. I was making, good money, relatively speaking. Benefits, 401k, and so forth. And I was just spending it. You know what I mean? Like I was balling out of control. I was, going out every week. My cost of living was way too high, buying cars I shouldn't have, got. And then I really didn't learn wealth until later on. Like you, I thought you were like my age or younger, obviously. I'm 35. But I didn't actually learn it until later on. So what was the transition of like you actually figuring it out? Was it a lot of trial and error, like you said, not really retaining the money you was making? Like, how did you really get to that shift?
Well, I knew that I was never taught about money, and I know that like nobody has ever taught these things, right? People grow up around money and they might have built-in systems that help them with money, but like to understand money, you have to learn. And initially, I thought it was like, well, I never learned how to invest. Like I said, I always knew how to make money. I never learned to invest, and I thought like when I was in my early 20s, I thought investing was buying real estate because that's what my grandfather did and my uncles and everybody did to build their wealth. And so that's the only kind of investment that I knew. But I knew there was like stocks and all these other things. And so I was like, well, I need to learn because I know that, that's typically how the wealthy maintain their money is through investments. And so I was like, okay, let me learn investing. And I have 2 master's degrees, and I was just like at a point where I wasn't in school full time. And I was like, I have time to actually learn this stuff. And so I just dived in like headfirst in learning about personal finance. And this is one of the things that I teach people when they follow me. Like, it's about education. It's not about me like giving you like just this get rich quick, like, here's how you do it, here's how you get money. Like, you actually have to learn for yourself and understand how money really works in order to build wealth. And so dived in head first in listening to podcasts, audiobooks, anything that was on my social media was curated around wealth building and what I needed to know. And the more that I learned, the more that I understood that I didn't know anything about money, and it wasn't about investing. It was really about like, and not about how much you make. Because like I said, at that point in time, I was in my mid-30s and I was making about $230,000 a year. But I had like zero savings as a nurse.
Yeah.
And that's not uncommon in the San Francisco Bay Area for a nurse to make that much money, by the way. But with lifestyle inflation, and we can talk about what that means more specifically, but doing the things I was supposed to do, my money, like all my debt that I had and everything that I learned, I wasn't doing anything abnormal. I wasn't, tricking it off at the club, going to happy hour every weekend. I wasn't doing those things. I was doing everything I was supposed to do. I had a luxury car. I had a brand new house, just all those things that people tell you you're supposed to do, but don't really give you a formula to do it in a way that is going to contribute to wealth building. Instead, it was done in a way that those things became liabilities to me. So just like understanding how money really works is what I learned. And I was just like diving deep. And like I said, everything I learned, I shared on my platform. I was like, listen, even my mistakes.
Yeah.
Like once I got like into it, like I went on this journey of like paying down all my debt. And I was like, like a Dave Ramsey enthusiast. And Dave Ramsey isn't for everybody. It's a good starter. But you have to understand personal finance is personal. That was a big lesson that I learned. And going down that path of, paying down debt without investing led me to losing $80,000 and then paying $30,000 in court fees. So, I mean, not court fees. I paid court fees for my divorce. $30,000 for the IRS because I wasn't minimizing my take-home pay by taking advantage of my pre-tax deductions. And so just all these things that I learned and understood. And so that's what I continue to do on my platform. My platform is all about educating people and empowering people with the knowledge to build real wealth.
I love that. If y'all catching these gems, do me a favor, drop something down. You can drop we just getting started. Like I said, I got my pen in hand as well. I love what you said. So I know it's probably, people out there of like, all right, it's so much about wealth. It's so much information, so many different people, so many different quote unquote gurus. Like, what's the starting place? You know what I mean? And I know it's different for everyone. I love how you said personal finance is personal. And I don't hear that people try to give like blanketed responses like Dave Ramsey has his, certain style, and Susie Orman and other people, and Robert Kiyosaki is like, the list goes on and on. But if someone's just starting out, like, what would you say is like the first step to getting on this wealth building journey?
Like I said, it's really about trying to educate yourself as much as possible because, and I'm going to tell you the story. And I've kind of like been off of social media because I've really been sad the last couple of days because I just found out like one of my followers lost $30,000 because they're getting scammed by, I don't know if you know, I have like a lot of impersonator accounts. And what they do is,
a couple of them follow me, I think.
Exactly. But a lot of people aren't hip to the game and know that, like, first of all, I'm not in Nigeria. I don't know why they think that. I'm from Oakland. But anyway, So the reason why I say that is because if it sounds too good to be true, it typically is. If
Mm.
somebody is telling you something like, "Oh, you got these things on your credit report, we can wipe them out," like all those things are more like, "I can do this for you, and I can get you
Right.
this amount of money. I can get you these results." I would be cautious about those things to start.
Mm.
And that's why I preach education first. Even like with credit repair and all that kind of stuff, I'm like, educate yourself. Like, you should know how credit works. If somebody is promising you to do something, or if somebody is promising to invest for you, I don't invest for you. Actually, it's illegal for people to invest for you. I don't know if people know that,
Right.
but
They have the SEC has approved you, like they can't.
I'm a nurse, and that's why my title says nurse first. I
Right,
am
right.
not a licensed investment personnel, professional. Like, that's not my title. I don't do that. So I think a lot of people they are so, like, I don't know, kind of like enthralled with like this wealth thing. They fall for the okey doke, and it
Mm.
is so detrimental because I feel like, especially if it's done under my name, first of all, because I feel like I pride myself in really advocating for my community, because we have been taken advantage of systemically, and barricaded, and just held back from wealth intentionally for a long time. And so it hurts me, like, to the bottom of my soul, when I see that happening, and then happening under my name. But I see it all the time. I see all these people selling like harmful products that I feel like are oversold to our community, like whole life insurance products and all those kind of things that are like, if anybody says like, this is what the wealthy do, and this
Yeah.
is what I'm always gonna say, listen, these are the steps that I took that took me from $1 million in debt to $1 million net worth. And it was a 7-year journey. It's not like an overnight thing, but these are the steps that I intentionally took. Yes, you can get there faster because I'm going to show you the steps, but I'm going to show you the steps under the premise of educating you. So, and the people that have truly followed my program and have gone through my courses are in a position where they can teach others. And that's the whole thing, is that I'm always going to leave you with gems that you can start your own platform. I don't
Right,
care.
right, right, right.
I feel like there's not enough of us in this space. There could never be enough of us in this space, because we have so much, like, road to catch up to other people. And then I also teach in a way so my kids understand. My kids are 3 and 8, and they understand these concepts too. And these are things that, I think that you should look for in somebody to follow. So the first step is, really, like, lean in on the fact that you want to learn this information, not that you want to just resolve a problem or think that you can make more money and your problems are going to go away, or you have to wait until you make more money for things to start working. Like, lean in right now on the education piece and do one thing. There's something that you can do right now that is going to change your trajectory of wealth. So
Mm.
what is it that you can do? And sometimes it just be like, stop following all the people that that aren't contributing anything to you, and really start following people that you aspire to. People that are doing the things that you really want to do, and not in a scammy way, in
Right,
a
right.
way that's relatable.
I love that. Yeah, I think that's so important. Like you said, just educating yourself and understanding, and because the people that I know that are rich and wealthy and have a lot of money, they always educating themselves. You know what I
Yes.
mean? You're the smartest one in the room. You're in the wrong room. You know what
The
I mean? So,
wrong way.
yeah, and information is so easily attainable nowadays as opposed to how it used to be. You know what I mean? With social media and YouTube and just reading and Google and just everything like that. People like yourself that, people can get into your program very affordable. And I know you get tons of gems. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if somebody wants to get in your program, like, there's no excuse. And of course we can talk about that. But I know you've seen, it's an article that people have been talking about for years and a few years now. I forget what source, but CNN or somebody was like, by 2053 or something like that, black wealth was supposed to be like zero or something like that. Just want
Yeah.
to get your thoughts on that and just how you felt when you saw that, and just that's just crazy.
But I know it to be true because I see the habits and I see what people do to attain wealth. And let's just and just understand that that's an average, right? But when I first started on this journey, like the average net worth for a Black woman in their prime earning years was like $10.
$10 or something. Yeah, I remember that too. Yeah.
$10. Like, so it ain't hard to get to zero from $10. I mean, like
Right.
the last study I saw, it was closer to like $1,000 to $10,000. That's not any money. You can't even live a month off of that amount of money. But what it is that, you know, we have a higher amount of debt. We have lower earning potential in jobs because, you know, the wealth gap and, you know, pay disparities, especially for women. And so, and we're just not educated to invest. A lot of us, you know, think saving is a way because that's the only way that we were taught. Or a lot of us put money in real estate, and then like me, and when I was in my early 20s, at 25 I had 5 houses, and then the housing market came, and I had 2 bankruptcies and 2 foreclosures. But two short sales and 2 foreclosures, and then I had to file bankruptcy. But I was in my early 20s, so I was able to recover from that. But a lot of people never could recover from that. A lot of generational wealth was lost because of that. You know, because a lot of people just sell things in real estate, like my grandfather, like my uncle. And so, you know, it's true. And that's why I say it's not enough of us in this space. And that's why I can't talk about this enough, because it's super important for people to understand what it takes to build real, sustainable, generational wealth, you know, like it's not hard, and that's the thing. But people are so reluctant to get started on the right path. They like, you'll see this lottery mentality, like I said, of people trying to get rich quick. Like they'll go down that path and lose money. Like all these people that cash out their 401ks to invest in Bitcoin and AMC and
Right.
all those things and do all this crazy shit. Like have you seen that emoji, that person going all the way up to the
Yeah.
top of the stairs? You know, their leg all the way stretched out to the top of the stairs. Like you ain't got to do all that. It's really about simple daily actions. Investing doesn't have to be hard. You know, like building your wealth doesn't have to be hard. You know, like it's about and make more money, but don't wait till you make more money. And you know, and know what to do with that money when you get it. Like that's the whole thing. Like that's the education piece. Like people are so reluctant, but I'm all the way up like high level. If you want me to take it down to like actionable steps, I can do that because like I said, it's not that hard. It's basic.
Yeah, no, you good, you fine. And that is true, because the last thing you said definitely hits home with me, because a lot of money flows to our community. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You cannot, if you say Black folks are broke, you can go to any mall and you're gonna see people lined up, Gucci store. Nothing wrong, I don't judge nothing, but you're gonna see people lined up for sneakers, lined up for Gucci. You know, a lot of people taking vacation and trips and like whatever. You're gonna see people spend a lot of money, but we're not retaining the money. We're not building wealth. We're not having our money make more money. But I definitely want you to give some more actionable items. But I'm definitely still curious. How do you go from almost $1 million in debt to almost $1 million net worth? Because it's one thing if you go from zero to being worth $1 million, but being in the hole $1 million to like getting out of the hole and then exceeding to like $1 million. To me, and you say, and I know it wasn't overnight, 7 years is a good amount of time. It's still a relatively short time to do that, to be honest, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how did you do that? Like, that's amazing to me.
Right. So the first thing I had to do was get intentional about my money. And that's why I call my platform Financially Intentional. It's really like understanding the basics. Like I said, this shit ain't hard. It's really straightforward. Like, where is your money going? Most people cannot tell you that. People can't tell you that. And so then I had to understand it down to the dollar. And once I understood that, and then I gave my money a job, like I was watching it, like CEO, like that's more money, like you got to work for me. The relationship and the dynamic of the way money flowed to me was different, right? So the way that I did that was through zero-based budgeting, and that's a Dave Ramsey thing, but it's not just Dave Ramsey, but it's very effective. Zero-based budgeting is when you give every single one of your dollars an assignment. It don't mean you're broke. It means that you give every single one of your dollars an assignment in advance. And then the thing that most people don't do, or what people do with their money typically is if they have a goal, what they'll do is they'll say, well, I usually spend about $2,000, $3,000 a month on my bill. I might have on my bills. I might have $400 left over at the end of the month, and then I'll throw that $400 at what my savings or debt payoff goal, right? At the end of the month, what happens? That $400 ain't there,
Right.
so they never hit their goals. And so with zero-based budgeting, what you want to do is you want to prioritize those things. So for me, and this is a big number, so don't get like, oh my God, I told you how much I made. So for me, in order to pay off debt, my goal was to pay $6,000 a month towards my debt. Mind you, this is coming from a place where I had zero money in savings. As a matter of fact, my sister was on this line. I owe my sister some money because I had to put blinds in my house that had 36 windows. But, I had nothing. So to go from nothing to being able to put $6,000 a month from my paycheck without making any more money towards my debt was just because I sat down and got intentional and set it as a goal. And once that goal was set and I adjusted the rest of my spending around it, then more often than not, I exceeded that goal. So that was one thing. So zero-based budgeting was something that I did to get out of debt. And then I used Dave Ramsey's debt snowball method, where I listed out all my debts from the smallest balance to the largest balance. I focused on the smallest balance debt and then paid minimum payments on the rest until that debt was paid off. It doesn't matter what you choose. Just focus on one debt at a time and just hit it hard. And then after I was totally out of debt, I went hard in the paint on investing. So for me, at a minimum every year, I'm going to max out my 403B, which is $20,500 this year. And I also, because I have a 403B, I have a 457, which is deferred compensation. If you work for a government organization or you're a teacher or something like that, or a firefighter, you have access to a 457. So that's another $20,500. So that's $41,000 a year on top. That's going straight into investment accounts.
Wow.
At a minimum. And then on top of that, I do a Roth. I have to do a backdoor Roth, which we can talk about later. But basically, I do a Roth IRA, which this year has a $6,000 contribution limit. So $47,000 a year at minimum I put towards investing and growing my accounts. And that's not including what I do for my kids. So then on top of that, my kids their 529s, or their college savings funds, are already set up so that they each will have $100,000 minimum when they turn 18. So it's already funded, and with a calculation, you can do like a future-based calculation or a compound interest calculator, where it'll tell you how much you need to invest at an interest rate, at whatever interest rate. And I always use a 7 or 8% interest rate, because historically the market has always grown and it's always going to grow on an average of 7 to 10% interest rate. So I use the lowest rate, and then I plug that into a compound interest calculator, and it tells me how much I need to invest for my kids if I want to do a lump sum or a monthly payment, for them to have $100,000 each. So they'd have that. They get $100 each every month to invest in their brokerage accounts, where they each get to pick their own. This is the only place where I do individual stocks, by the way. They each get to pick their individual stocks, because I'm teaching my kids to be owners. So, like you said, people in line for, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, all that stuff. My kids know all those symbols. They know the Tesla symbol. They know the McDonald's symbol. They know the Apple symbol, even if they can't read. They know how to pick the stocks based on the symbol, and they know what they're into, right? And they know what companies they want to be owners of.
Wow.
So they pick their individual stocks in those portfolios. So $100 a month, they go and they compete against each other in returns. So that's another one investment I have. And then because I have my own company, they work for me. You'll see them in my ads when I do brand partnerships. You'll see them all over my account. They're my models. They're on my page. They're in my branding. They're in everything, right? So they work for me. So I pay them in the form of their retirement account, which
Wow.
because they have earned income, they can have a retirement account. So they both have Roth IRAs.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I love that. I'm blown. And I'm sure it's probably more, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. Like you said, definitely setting your kids up. Definitely, paying off that debt, investing, maxing out 401k or, your retirement plan, 457. I love that. Was there any, I know you had some bad experiences with real estate in the past. Was there any real estate as far as building the wealth back up, anything in real estate also?
Well, so this is how I look at real estate. Okay, I don't really like I don't really like real estate like as an investment. Like I probably will get back more into real estate, but obviously I'm kind of scoring. But the way that I look at real estate, I wants to come kick it with us. So say hi. Anyway, so the way that I look at like basically like your housing costs. Let's talk about your housing costs because I like
Yeah.
something that you did that was freaking genius. And I always recommend people to do that. And I'm the kind of person that, I don't know if you ever heard of this thing like called the latte factor, where, like, well, if you didn't spend money on coffee and you
Right.
invested that money, like I bump that. I'm not a fan of that, right?
Yeah.
Because your biggest expenses are going to be your housing expenses and your transportation expenses. So if you can decrease your housing expenses and your transportation expenses and invest the rest, you changing the game, right? So what I do is I always try to minimize my housing expenses by making sure I have a room to rent out to another nurse because nurses just come. If they're going to come to work. They're not about to tear up your house. They
Right.
sleeping most of the time and they working. So I
Right.
always have and they're usually my coworkers.
Yeah.
So there's somebody I can trust, right? Because I have little kids and people always use the excuse, well, I'm a woman and I have kids. And this is just in my house, but there's a way like you did. You bought multifamilies.
Yep.
So your living expenses are going to be super low.
Yep.
If you even have living expenses because
Right.
your tenants can be covering the whole mortgage.
Exactly.
So if you could take that money and invest it, you're unstoppable.
Facts.
Yeah. And so I've done that like with my house. I've also done it like I wanted another car. And instead of just like buying another car, I was like, well, I'm going to get this car. I'm going to put it on Turo for the days that I don't use it. And it pays for itself. So that's how you eliminate those two top expenses, right? So those are some things that I've done. That's the way I look at real estate. Like I said, I'll invest in real estate later, but I'm only interested in doing things like buying a house for like $20,000, fixing it up, renting out like that. Like the way I was investing before wasn't very intentional. So, but also if you like real estate and you don't necessarily want to be a landlord, there's also ways to invest in real estate through things like REITs.
Yeah.
And things like that. So there's all these other kind of ways to be involved in real estate if you don't want to be a traditional landlord.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So take away, everyone watching, is there are multiple different ways to build wealth. You know what I mean? Like it's not necessarily a one size fits all. Of course, it's personal finance, but there are many different avenues. There are avenues to real estate, of course, investing. Just paying off debt alone can increase your net worth. You know what I mean? Like a lot of us start in the red or at zero. You know what I mean? So I love that as well. Y'all got any questions? Someone said house hacking is where it's at. Yeah, definitely.
Yes, definitely.
Questions? Feel free to drop it now. It's got a few more minutes. I know you're very busy. You got your kids. Let you back to your evening. But of course, I definitely want you to drop your information how people can invest in your program. I know you got ebooks, for kids and otherwise adults as well. So if someone's interested, they want to get in your program, they want to learn more, they want to be part of the community, how can they do that?
Definitely follow me at Financially Intentional. Everything that I have, you can access through my link in bio. I do have an investing course that's coming up. It's called Hella Simple Investing because, like I said, investing isn't hard. And I tell you from start to finish how to invest because a lot of people are anxious about investing or have been burned with investing. And like I said, I was very hesitant myself and very reluctant. So everything that I do comes from a place of, I know where you're at. I've been through that. like, let me teach you, let me put you up on game and educate you. So it's something that, like, again, you can teach other people.
Definitely.
Yeah, and so yeah, would I advise investing while paying off debt? So that was one of my biggest money mistakes, is not investing while paying down debt. That's too loud, so you can't be right here. Is not investing while paying down debt. Like I said, it cost me money because I wasn't taking advantage of my pre-tax deductions. I'm a high income earning nurse in the state of California, which has hella taxes. And by me not, and if you don't know this, once you contribute to your retirement or your company retirement account, it drops your taxable income, the amount you're able to get taxed on. Therefore, you're under a different tax bracket. So I'm always going to be at the highest tax bracket for, you know, my state. And so by decreasing my taxable income by $40,000, I'm at a different tax bracket, and so I don't pay a lot of taxes. And also, I'm saving money for my future, so I'm always going to max that out. And the thing is that I look at it like this: either I'm gonna pay myself or I'm gonna pay the IRS, and I'm gonna choose myself every single time.
All day.
Yes, and so I saw a question there about the investing. I can't remember. I think it's this month. I think it's the 18th. I have the Hella Simple Investing where I'm gonna do a live training, but it's in my membership. So I usually charge to do these seminars. I usually charge $100 just for these classes, but it's in my membership, which is $19 a month. So if you're in my membership, it's a no-brainer. But you have to join my membership in order to be a part of this class. And I do classes like this every single month. And so that's your incentive. And plus, within my membership, I have my course of how to go from zero to wealthy, legacy building, investing, all of those things in there. So I feel like it's a no-brainer, and it's cheap, and it's not $30,000, which I think is ridiculous for somebody to get scammed out of or something. Only my ebook is like $30, like $20, like my class is $20. Like, I don't understand why somebody would think that I would ask them for $30,000, and it just hurts my heart. It hurts my heart. Like, I know we all have to take some kind of personal responsibility, but I'm pretty pissed off at Instagram because these accounts have been reported. Anyway, I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole. I just am like, so like, anyway, it's cheap. $20, and you can pretty much access everything that I have. And the reason why I do that is because, like I said, I want to keep my information accessible, but I also want to just give you something that you have to kind of like pay to play, because a lot of times there's no action taken if you don't like have any kind of personal investment in it. And so, but I keep it super affordable. So everybody has access to the information, because of course you can learn this information like I did, then pay like the IRS $30,000 and then all of those kind of things, or you can get the cheat code and the shortcut, but not the get rich quick scam. Like, I'm going to educate you on how to really build wealth in a way that's sustainable, in a way that is you can pass down for generations, because we don't talk about money enough. And like we mentioned, we are like facing a real crisis where if we don't take our finances seriously, we're going to have nothing.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And let's get Instagram, please, no more fake accounts. Give that blue check.
Thank you.
Get verified. Definitely do that. Yeah, everyone here, if you're not in the membership, definitely get in the membership. I know you're going to learn a lot of stuff. Plus, you have the community aspect of connecting with people. And another big thing of building wealth is getting around like-minded individuals. Look at your circle and who you hang with. If you hang with 4 broke people, you're going to be the 5th. If you hang with people that want to build wealth or on a wealth building journey, or, you know what I mean, investing, paying off debt, entrepreneurs, whatever it is, you are your net worth. Your network is your net worth. You know, so I think that's another big thing as well in wealth building is who do you hang around, who are you spending a lot of time with? That's definitely going to translate into your wealth. Also, if you're not following Nasima or myself, go to the top to drop down. You don't have to get off the live. You go to the drop down, follow both of us. If you're not following us already, But yeah, definitely get into the membership. It's very affordable. It's no excuse, but you definitely got to pay to play.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. And then the thing about like your net worth being your net worth, like the whole thing is that like it doesn't. You don't have to change your friends. We're not
Right.
saying that, but that's exactly what I'm saying. When curate the people that you listen to or that you're surrounded with, like every day, like I don't listen to me. I love music. I love to dance, you know that. But 99% of the time, I'm listening to an audiobook or a podcast or something that I can learn from. That's also my network. And the thing is that those people that I've read their books, they've eventually actually become my friends in real life. And
Mm-hmm.
so then now I'm surrounded by these people who I looked up to. So
Mm-hmm.
they are my network for
Mm-hmm.
real, for real.
That's
Yeah.
powerful. Powerful.
Yeah.
Has anybody got any last questions? If you got any last questions, feel free to drop it down. Money questions, wealth building questions about her course, about her community. You can also get any of her ebooks as well. And I definitely, you know,
There was a question here about what was the other way to invest in real estate. So there's a lot of ways to invest in a lot of things, right? But what I was saying is like a way that if you don't want to be a traditional landlord, you can buy REITs, which are real estate investment trusts. So what it is a fancy way of saying you're buying stocks of companies that have hundreds and thousands of real estate properties. And so their stocks are based off of the real estate market without you having to be a landlord, but you technically own real estate.
I love that. Yeah, I actually have a little bit of money in REIT. That was my first way of getting into entrepreneur. Sorry, in real estate was getting
Mm-hmm.
into REIT, and just
Mm-hmm.
putting money in that, and as well, and also, with real estate, generally you need, a good amount for a down payment or something like that.
Yeah.
It's another way to get into real estate more cost effective, without, a big down payment or closing costs and all that stuff.
Yeah, and the thing about investing is that now, and this is the whole thing. Like over the last couple of years, investing has become so accessible. There's no excuse for you not to invest. And accessible in the means to like you used to have like $20,000-$40,000 to even start like an investment account at your like Schwab's and like
Right, right,
TD
right.
Ameritrade and all of those things. Like now these traditional brokerages, and thanks to Robinhood, even though don't go to Robinhood, that's the hood, don't want to go there. Okay, don't do that. But thanks to platforms like that and other fintech companies, the barrier to entry to real estate is as low as $5, and your money is automatically invested. So the things that I like platforms like Fidelity and M1 because they have known investment minimums. You can set up recurring investments, and there's no fee investing. So you're not paying for fees for your investing. You can start as low as $5 or whatever you got in your bank account until you got that. Then you build up those muscles, or until you really understand. There's no excuse for you to not get started today. And so, like, if you want to invest in real estate and you ain't got 20% down, 5% down, invest in a REIT. And if you don't understand what that is, then like go to these platforms and look and just type in REIT in the search field, and it'll pull up the companies, and take some time to understand how to look at like investments. And the thing is, I invest how simple. I just invest in index funds, which are just like track the market. So basically, I invest in like the top companies and in the world, right? The top companies typically in the U.S., which happen to be the top companies in the world, right? And you know how like Twitter was on the index, but now Elon
Yeah,
Musk is about to take it private, right? So it's going to fall off, right? So if you invested in an index fund versus just investing in Twitter, right, you will
yeah,
lose all your investment potential,
right,
right?
right.
As opposed to when you invest in an index fund, oh, Twitter just fell off, it's going to be replaced by the next best thing.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
Okay, and so that's why I invest in index funds. Like I said, you're not trying to beat the market. Nobody can really beat the market, and people that do beat the market on average, that when you average out all the returns and losses, it's not gonna beat like how the market grows. So you might as well just match the market, which, like I said, has a historical 7 to 10% rate of return. It has always gone up. It has never gone down. even in the times of recession and depression, it looks like a little blip blip, and then it goes right back up. So that's why I love investing in the market. That's why I teach people to build wealth. But yeah, I really feel like there's no excuse for anybody because the barrier to entry is so freaking low. It's just really about getting started. And so that's why I tell people there's something you can do right now to get started. If that's just going to Fidelity and then opening a fund. If that's Googling what are zero cost index funds for Fidelity, meaning that these index funds don't have any fee, and they're competing against all these companies so they don't have no fees, but they have a good track record. Just do something. There's no excuse not to build real wealth, and there's no excuse to get scammed out of money when there's so many affordable resources out there for you to learn. So yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I love that. There's no excuse. There's no excuse not to, invest. No excuse not to build wealth. No excuse not to set your children up. So, if you need some direction or you need a place to go or you need more information, definitely join her membership. You can DM her. I know she got a link in her bio. Multiple ways to get in touch with her. She does amazing content. I saw one of your videos got like 20 million views. I was like, that's crazy. Like, seriously. So you a beast at content as well. I'm big on content and all that and marketing. So you definitely know how to do that. You have a big platform. You have a big following. So just keep doing what you're doing. I love it.
Thank you, Ryan.
So I don't see any last questions. Naseema, definitely thank you again for coming on. I know you're very busy. I know you got a lot going on. You got your kids. I know you just came back from being out of town. So I just appreciate you. You definitely got to do this again soon.
For sure. Anytime.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, Ryan. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.